Welcome to the tutorial on Atom Imp's text editor and file encoding conversion program. From the ubiquitous Notepad and its many enhancements to some highly specialized text editors, there's a legion of text editors available. Unfortunately, none of them met my needs. While all the features I needed are available, if I installed a collection of text editors and text encoding converters, that would result in an overly complicated program environment, which required constant switching between programs and which is very error-prone and time-consuming. What I needed was a relatively simple and less error-prone program that combined the features of both a straightforward text editor and a text encoding converter. As a result, I wrote my own, and while I was in the process of writing my own, I just added some enhancements that made life easier for me, and I think will make life easier for you. These were things like including Unicode, making line numbers readily available, introducing spell checking in a simple text editor, and so on and so forth. When you start the program and load in a file, you get perhaps something like this, which illustrates some of the points. For example, here are some Unicode code points, or characters if you like. Here's a misspelled word, which if we right-click on it, will give us a context menu with it. We can either correct it, or we can ignore the word, or we can add the word to a private user dictionary. Or I'll just correct it, and you can see what happens. It's automatically corrected. To go into a little more detail, we have a menu bar up here with all the options. Some of the more prominent or frequently used options are put on a toolbar, but they're the same as what's in the menus. If we try File, we can do a new file, and when that happens, we get an option of whether we want to save the current text or discard it, or in this case, we'll cancel it for the illustration. If we want to convert from one encoding to another, we can use from encoding and to encoding. Those turn out to be the same as write and read file encoding, so I'll wait till later to explain them. They're just put in here in the convert section as a mnemonic to help you remember. You can open a file, and to help you if you're constantly using the same files, we have a recent files list where you can go over here and you can pick out the most recent ones on top, and you can pick out perhaps one that you want to go right away. We have a save option, which if you click will save the file, and will give you a number of options, including what happens if you want to change the coding. These options pop up all the time, and basically it's to keep me, but hopefully you too, from making mistakes. You have a save as. In the save option, if you've opened a file and you save, you can overwrite the existing file. And while there are dialog windows that try to prevent you from inadvertently doing that, you might be better off just clicking on the Save As option and then saving it as a different file. We have a Print Preview option, which if you click it will show you a preview of what the print will look like, including with the line numbers. If you want to change the print, you have some print options. If you don't want the line numbers, you just click on it on the line number checkbox. You can set the margins and the margin units. You can also include a header and a footer. If you include the header, whatever you type in here will be placed at the top of every page. No, the headers and the footers will not be included when you save the file, but they will be included when you print things out. And you can set the alignment. For example, if I wanted to center this, I'm going to say test, and I can put a date on here if I like, or I can put a time of day if I like. I can make the thing longer. Looks like it disappears, but if we just scroll up, we'll see it's actually there. We can add page numbers. This will be page whatever of the total page count. These symbols are replaced by that. You can do that in the footer as well. For example, if I put page number, it'll give me page 1 of 10, 2 of 10, 3 of 10, and so forth. If I get rid of them, the information's not saved. If I put them on again, I got to re-enter it again. But I find this convenient to keep track of when I'm doing something, when I print it out. I'm going to cancel this for now. These options, like the print options, and the print preview, are all available on the toolbar as well. Print just prints it out. Now let's look at the read file encoding. The default is the system. The system is whatever is installed on your machine when the operating system is installed, and that varies by location. You probably are using this without even realizing it in all your documents. The most common encoding system that's used besides your system is UTF-8. This is becoming the de facto internet standard, and so I place it at the top. But as you can see, we got a whole bunch of other encoding possibilities. You want to make sure before you open a file or before you read it with the recent documents that you set the encoding correctly. And if you want to change the encoding, you change the right coding to whatever you want. For example, if I click on UTF-8 here, now if I go back here, you can see that read coding is system and write coding is UTF-8. That will convert your file from your system default to UTF-8, although I would suggest you save it first using the Save As option and not overwrite your file until you're verified it. Exit will allow you to exit. If I hit exit, you'll see I'll get this thing that asks me if I want to save it or discard it or whatever. You get the same thing as if you click up here on the default close. Put that for now. Now, if you actually want to edit the program, you have an undo, a redo, cut, copy, paste, delete, a select all. These are all the standard things. You have a find and replace and a find next, both of which happen to be on the toolbar here. You can highlight any word or phrase, and it will highlight every one that appears in the document. And if you do a selection first, for example, and see highlight is also on the toolbar, so we'll put there, it'll show up here, and if I hit click OK, you can see the highlight right there. Now, for now, I just want to clear it out. You can go to any line. Let's try, let's say, line 3. Of course, 3 is already there, but it will scroll down the window here and place the cursor on line 3. Having a line number and the ability to wrap a line around so it's all within the same window so I can see it is something that I find very useful. And you can't turn off the line number except when you do a printout. But you can go to any line. Lots of times you say you know that there's a problem in line 376 and just use the go to line to go to that line without fooling around. You can insert a date and time, any place the cursor is in the document. Let me go to the next line here by hitting a return. You can see I can type things in, and I get an indication of a misspelled word with this wavy line underneath. But I can also add Unicode code. Adding Unicode is one of the prime reasons that I built this program, and that's there under Insert Character under the Edit menu. Which is also right up here on the toolbar, so it's easy to get to. But let me go back to the Edit program. We can insert any Unicode point in the basic multilingual plane. And see, right now no character has been selected, but we can add it here. Let's just put a number in here. And what you see is that, okay, it's a valid point, but it's not supported by the current character set. It will still be inserted if you hit Insert. It's just that you can't see it in this window. However, you may see it in the actual display of the document, text document itself, because while this window only displays the characters with the current character set selected, the document here, where it would be inserted, which would be actually down here, uses a hierarchy of characters, character sets, to try to give you an idea of what character you're actually inserting. Now here we have a decimal character. We can actually insert it as a hexadecimal by preceding it by a 0x. And you see that hex 144 actually is a valid character for the character set I'm looking at. And if we hit Insert, it will show up. There it is. The fact that it's indicated as a misspelled word, even though it's only one character, has to do with the particular dictionary you've selected. And I'll get to that in a bit. In addition to the direct selection, you can insert an HTML entity. Entities can be there are a lot of them to start with, so I sorted them alphabetically, and then they're case sensitive, so I sorted them by case. Here in the F, let's say filled small square. Click on it, and it's stuck in there. Now, one of the reasons why I included HTML entities as a way to insert Unicode code is that some entities consist of more than one Unicode character. So it's just more convenient to use this kind of method to insert the Unicode. Another is that it's more familiar in a lot of characters. So, in addition, we have the current font support. If you want to know exactly what characters are supported by the current font you've selected, click here. Wait a moment, we'll load it up. And here are all the characters that your current font will support. And you just scroll down, and there are a lot of them on this particular font. And if you find one, or you know one that you want to insert, here's a visual representation of it, and if you click on it, you can see it's immediately inserted. You don't have to wait. When you're all done, you simply hit close. Let me go back for a moment to the Insert Unicode. When you put something in here, so here's we've selected, it will not be inserted until you actually hit insert. If you hit cancel, nothing happens. That's different from one of these others, current font. As you saw whenever you hit something, it will be inserted immediately. And then when you're done, you hit close. There are a large number of Unicode characters, and they're sorted into category blocks or categories, however you want to look at them. And here are some of them: general punctuation, superscripts and subscripts, enclosed alphanumerics, for example. I can put a 3 in there, circle 3, and there it is. And a number of others, and they all act the same way. Math, miscellaneous, take a braille pattern. And again, when you get this kind of a box, whenever you click it, it's immediately inserted. Then we have insert. This is an artifact from when I first started, but it's still useful sometimes. You can also insert the date time here. You insert the characters from here. Here it says header, footer, line numbers. That's the same as print options. So just look at the print options. Now we have options. Options are, you can do word wrap. You can turn it off, see what happens, and it goes trailing way off the end. You can't see the end, although you can scroll over to see it. I just find this less convenient than having word wrap. You have real-time checking. If I turn that off, nothing's checked. Put an example up here. If I turn it back on, then while I'm typing, it will tell me whether it's a good word or a bad word. Unfortunately, it will not go back, because it's where the cursor is, and find previous errors. To do that, you have to hit the check spelling. This checks the entire document. So I do that, and boom, it shows up. And I can do that from here because it is also on the toolbar, as are cut, copy, paste, and so forth. Now if I hit suggest, right click, I can change it. However, a interesting thing here is that if I disable real-time checking, I can see by checking the document that this is a misspelled word. But if I right-click on it, I don't see any options to correct it. That's because the real-time checking hasn't been enabled. You just get the normal default context menu. And notice that things in the context menu are dynamic, and it depends on the circumstances. There's no selection, so you can't cut or copy. Although there's an undo, and you can undo it. I don't know if I remember if I went up here, but yeah, you do have undo and redo here in the toolbar. Let me turn real-time checking on, and then I'll do it. I can ignore a word in a document, or I can add a word to the document. Let me add this word, even though it's a lousy word. Well, we'll add it to the document, because as we go down here, we have an using the context menu is the usual way to ignore or edit or correct a word. But you can also do it via an editor, which you pick from the options menu. So if you wanted to add a word to ignore list, you could add PLOPPL, for example. Add, and whenever you type this word, the editor will ignore it while spell checking. Of course, this only becomes valid when you hit click OK. If you click cancel, it's not valid any longer. Okay, and if we go here and look at the select dictionary, the edit user dictionary, we see here's this weird word that we put in earlier, STFF. EXXAMPL, I'm sorry, this one. If we want to remove it, we remove it. Just hit remove and then click OK. When you click remove, it will remove it immediately. In order to do the spell checking, we have to select a dictionary. This dictionary, you can select multiple dictionaries. So, for example, if you have a specialized dictionary of engineering terms or medical terms, you can add that to the program file or the folder where the dictionaries are stored, and it will show up in the dictionary list, and you can include it. So here I have user dictionary, an English US dictionary, a HTML5 dictionary. I can't think of any good reason why you would do this, but if you wanted to add a generic Spanish dictionary, you can. And then close the dictionaries here. And now if we do a spell check, it will look for both English and Spanish words, and if it finds it in one of the dictionaries, it will label it as a correctly spelled word. You can have any number of dictionaries selected, and when you're done choosing them, you close dictionaries. In addition to the dictionaries, we have the format. Format allows you to pick the font and the size and the type, the style of what's displayed. This font will be used both for the text document and for the headers and footers. I use Arial because it's just easier for me to read, but here's one, for example, Blood of Dracula, and we'll make it, I don't know, 10 points. We'll click it. See, it comes up looking kind of weird, but it's valid. I can do Baroque script at I don't know, 18 points, and that in. You can see everything we put in there is now in Baroque script. Whatever font you pick does not affect what is stored in the document file. That is just text. The font is simply for display and print. Let me go back to Arial and also notice there are some things in this box, since we're using the system box, such as strikeout and underline, which are just basically ignored by the program. The only things that affect the program are the font style, and the size. There we go. And in fact, let me just make that a little bigger so that it can be easily seen. Make it like, I don't know, 24. Let's see what that does. There you go. And you'll notice that the line numbers also follow the same font, so they'll get bigger and smaller and change as you change the font. You also have options to change text to lower and to uppercase. For example, if I make a selection and I go in here and I hit to lowercase, it'll make it all lowercase. If I make a selection and I hit to uppercase, it'll make all the characters in the selection uppercase. I find that convenient. Word wrap can be also enabled and disabled under this menu, as can real-time spelling, and as can checking the whole document. And I've got a header, footer, line number thing here, which also is the same as print options. That pretty much is the bulk of what's going on in the program. You can convert from one set of encoding to another using setting the read and write file, or the convert to and from encodings. In addition, there is it's very expensive to you provide these programs, even though they're free. So we ask if you can to please contribute something. And the other thing you can do, you get a little box which currently is set up to PayPal for you to contribute some support. Shows PayPal because it has some security for your information, and we don't need to have it ourselves. You can put all your information in PayPal. We don't keep it. And then we have a shop button. If you click on this, what will happen is your default browser will open to a shop page, and anything you buy there will help support these programs. Finally, we have a help menu. This is a help. We'll open a help program which explains all of the options of the program in quite a bit of detail. We have a video tutorial, which is actually this video tutorial. It will just connect to YouTube and start playing it. We have a feedback page, which if you click it, will take you to our Facebook page where we keep all the feedback, because we can't afford to do it. We're a low budget operation, so all of it's there on Facebook. Contribute is the same as the support contribute menu, just another place where you can do it. Update, we have no automatic updates. What update does is connect you to the download page, and with enough information to know what version of the program you're currently running. And on the download page, it will inspect that and tell you if you're running with the latest version or if you should update. Finally, there's an About page, and the About page shows basically basic information about it, including the version. It's got a couple of links here, one to our web page and one to the page where the program is explained in more detail. And that's about it. I thank you for your consideration of this program, and I hope that it proves useful to you.